What's going on, guys, and welcome to The Guide. My name is Valerio, but you may also know me as Stallion, and today, before we get into the FIFA 20 content, I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement. We're officially launching our very own Instagram page here at The Guide, where you're going to be able to consume a ton of content, from shorter, snackable tutorials that you guys can consume on the go. But not only that, we're going to be looking at a lot of goals that we score here at The Guide, talk about them, discuss them. We're going to be looking at the promos, the team of the weeks, tell you guys which players we think are the best. We're going to give you guys all sorts of tips for the weekend league, starter squads, custom tactics. We're going to also have a lot of conversations together. You guys can send us in your own teams that we can rate, discuss, say what we would change, what we would like to see improved within you guys' teams, and much more stuff. So of course, if you're interested in that, be sure to drop a follow. You can find the link to everything in the description down below. And now, without further ado, let's get back to the topic at hand. You may have noticed that in FIFA 20, it is quite easy to lose the ball, be it from a bad turn, a bad dribble, a bad pass. So there are things that you should be doing in order to make sure that doesn't happen, in order to make sure that your build-up play doesn't mess up, and in order to make sure that your chance creation is on point and you don't give up possession and give up a counterattack. Now, you may have noticed that I mentioned both chance creation and build-up play, and that's because what we're going to be talking about today is relevant on both ends of the pitch, whether you want to make the difference between giving away an easy goal and getting out of your own half, or make the difference between creating a chance and potentially scoring or giving away a counterattack. These are all things that are going to be relevant to your gameplay. Before we get into the specific examples, it's important to introduce the concept of decision making. No matter what you're trying to do while in possession of the ball, from making a pass to dribbling correctly or performing a turn, your decision making abilities will play a huge role in giving yourself the best odds for success. While you have the ball, you'll have to account for a variety of factors in order to make the right choices. So today, I'm going to give you guys 5 factors to consider for your decision making on the ball to help you avoid careless possession mistakes. You may have noticed a ton of your passes getting intercepted in FIFA 20, and part of the reason for this is because there's a ton of importance on the body positioning of the ball holder. Taking the extra touch to get a perfect angle makes a world of a difference. Just look at this example here. We got lazy with Son on the ball and misplaced a careless pass. This probably would have worked had a single extra touch to the inside been taken, and we would have allowed the game to give me a better trajectory. The opposite can be said for this example, where essentially everything went perfectly. Our player is all alone with a ton of space that can be exploited. Now, had we gone for this pass the moment we noticed an opportunity, it probably would have been intercepted. What makes this possible is this tiny extra touch to give us the necessary angle to bypass the presence of the opposing defender. Details like this can make a huge difference, especially in FIFA 20, so learning how to take the extra touch can transform your passing plays. After mastering the art of body positioning, the next step is to understand how pass selection can be the difference between losing the ball or not. In FIFA 20, it will be really important for you to be aware of your teammates and what they are doing before you decide what pass to make. Failing to do so will result in losing the ball, either because you did a ground pass to a player running into space, or you performed a through ball to a player who was stationary. This example here is perfect because while dribbling away with our fullback, our midfielder is ready to be the outlet and receive the pass. Unfortunately, I was fooled by the illusion of space and went for the through ball. What I should have done instead is notice that my midfielder was stationary, facing me the whole time, and supplied him with a normal ground pass. This decision eventually leads to my midfielder chasing the ball for so long that by the time he's close enough to do anything with it, the defender is already pressuring, causing us to lose the ball due to lack of time. And all of this could have been averted with the correct passing selection at the start. After becoming aware of your player's positioning, the next step will be to control their movement, and you can do so by calling players short when you need support. In order to call a player short, simply tap R1 on PlayStation or RB on Xbox while at the same time aiming the left stick towards the player you want to come near you. The commands are really basic, but the timing can get quite tricky when you're under pressure. In this case, practice makes perfect, and over time you will be able to call players short in an instant. There are 2 main ways I like to use this feature in order to help me avoid careless turnovers. The first is usually on the wing, typically when I'm controlling a fullback and I need support from a winger or an outside cam. A problem I usually find is that players ahead of me will try and supply me a run, and more often than not, there's nothing I can really do with these types of runs, so I'd much rather they came short. By using this feature and calling them close, I'm able to do just that. I'm able to have them come close to me, give my player an easy outlet, and avoid putting myself in tough situations with minimal options. This is essentially the most basic application of this tool and can be applied in a variety of ways, but at the very least, it should help you avoid losing the ball carelessly. The second scenario I use it primarily to make sure I don't give the ball away is for corners. So far in FIFA 20, unless you have the mega teams necessary, it feels like it's not really worth risking the header to try across. I usually prefer playing it short and creating a play from there. Pressing R1 or RB while a corner is underway pulls the first man short for the corner, but that's only the first phase. Typically, there will be someone else outside of the box and he's the one who is your target. Once you've played the corner short, calling the player outside of the box will give you an outlet to begin the attack on the edge of the box. Now, there is no set rule for what to do here, but the idea is to make the most out of a corner now that headers aren't as consistent. The final two tips to implement in your gameplay are related and essentially play off of each other. The first of these last two refers to awareness, and what I mean by that specifically revolves around being aware of the indicator on top of your opponent's player. Knowing where that indicator is at all times will tell you who your opponent has selected, and this can heavily influence the decisions you make while on the ball. Over time, this will come naturally, but you may have to make an effort at first to pay close attention to this detail. This clip is a really good example of being aware. With Lenglet holding the ball, we initiate a change in direction because of who the opponent is selecting. Shortly after, we advance a few meters along the pitch, Sissoko gets the ball in the middle, and once again we choose to go downwards based on the opponent's choice of who to select. By becoming aware of your opponent's indicator, you can be confident in getting out of any pressure within your own half. The following example shows that this really goes for anywhere on the pitch, even in the final third. Our Lacazette is in front of Son, giving us a really good run. However, our opponent isn't covering that run, and his AI does a really good job of not giving me any openings. The opponent is actually selecting his other defender way on the other side. Had he been selecting the defender in front of Lacazette to cover the run, I may have considered waiting for his mistake and proceeding with a through ball to the runner. However, the fact that he was selecting a defender off on the side made me decide to simply keep running straight into the free space. I could have actually kept going, and this was a mistake on my part, but the point still stands. The fifth and final tip to help you avoiding losing possession in all areas of the pitch, like I mentioned earlier, relates to the concept of being aware of the opponent's indicator. We refer to this as safe dribbling, and it's basically the natural progression of being aware of the opponent's indicator once you become more advanced. What this idea requires you to do is learn how to appropriately dribble and take touches into safe areas away from opposing pressure. This can be used both in the build-up and in the final third. And in this example, we're at risk of losing the ball in our build-up with Sissoko under direct pressure. Turning counterclockwise and above allows us to turn away and keep our back to our opponent so he does not have access to the ball. This translates pretty well in the attacking phase as well, because in this example, we receive the ball with Lewandowski. We are able to react really quickly by applying the concept of awareness with the principles of safe dribbling. As we are receiving the ball, given the position of the center back controlled by the opponent and his body position, we aim the direction of our striker to the bottom, as you can see with the gamepad on the bottom left side of the screen. This will initiate the first touch of our player later on. Moments after, the opponent's pressure and his body positioning changes the situation, so as you can see from the gamepad on the screen, even though our initial touch was downwards, we adjust based on the change of the defender's positioning and direction. We aim for a turn to the upper left-hand side, and this eventually pays off as we bypass the pressure of the defender and always keep our back to his direction. To wrap things up, FIFA 20 is definitely a change of pace compared to FIFA 19 in the sense that you'll have to think more about passing and dribbling decisions, otherwise you risk losing possession quite carelessly. A lot of these tips were abstract concepts, so it might be difficult at first to fully grasp it and know how to apply it. And it always is when a solution to a problem isn't a step-by-step outline. But the positive thing about this is that mastering these principles will allow you to adapt to any situations in any future FIFA. A step-by-step guide for any problem might be more convenient, but it does become more obsolete as soon as the issue at hand changes, which it will because FIFA is an ever-changing game. That's going to be it from me today. I hope you guys found this useful, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time.